the young influence, adolescent presence, I'm succumbing to it. I've been giving yeses when I shouldn't do it. I complete ejected with the moves elusive, and I'm barely moving, but I'm still gon' boost 'em. I can't work on winnings when I know you're losing, so I went to winning.
God damn, we back at it. And now we are finally here at my top albums of 2020. The last couple of days we've been looking at my favorite songs of 2020, top 100. We're looking at the honorable mentions of 2020, and now we're finally here at the top albums of the year of 2020. Now, I believe listed down below in the description is going to be about 25, but I'm only going to be talking about my top 10, because if I go over the 25 albums, I'm probably going to be here for the next 30 to 45 minutes. I'm not trying to have y'all here the next 30 to 45 minutes. I'm going to pray this is not going to be a 30 to 45 minute video, but I'm going to do my best to keep it concise and short with every album on the list. It's going to be the top 10. So without further ado, let's hop on into it. Right out the gate, we got Chris Brown and Young Thug, Slime and B. When I first seen this album come out, this collab album come out between the two, I'm like, Chris Brown, Young Thug? I don't know if it's gonna mesh, but I don't think it's gonna be good. But then I seen the reviews, people like, oh, this is good, this is a solid album. So I'm like, let me turn this on. I'm like amazed. I'm like, wow, this combination actually works well. The singling and the rapping ability, the capability that Chris Brown has, and then the trap turned up sound that Young Thug has, collab pretty well, man. Some of my favorite tracks from that project is Track Back, I Got Time, Talking to the Big Slime, which had Gunn and Lil Duke on that. And definitely City Girls. City Girls was definitely my favorite track from that album. That collab album was pretty good, man. It was a nice little summer bop ahead of summer. I think it came out in like May, I believe, like late May. And it was a nice good time, man. It was nice solid times, nice solid vibe, nice little turn up tracks. Some of them were slowed down tracks. Someone had some singing, some harmonization. You know, you got Chris Brown and Thug. They came together and it was a solid album overall. Next up, we got 21 Savage and Metro Boomin, Savage Mode 2, man, featuring with the we got Morgan Freeman narrating the entire album. I can't believe they got Morgan Freeman to narrate that album. But 21 Savage and Metro Boomin, this is the second iteration of the Savage Mode series, and the first one was released, I believe, in 2016. And like between the Savage Mode 1 and Savage Mode 2, you can see the duration of the growth that not only 21 Savage but also Metro Boomin had, from their production to the music and the lyrical ability. Especially 21 Savage, you can definitely see the difference between the two albums, because it's a 4-year gap to the maturity that 21 Savage has, and not only in his music but also as a person. He's come to his fruition, to himself, some self-reflection, especially in his last album, I Was, that came out last year. Was it last year or the year before last? It was late last year. So it came to fruition. You can see the growth and maturity he has in his music, and the great production, Metro Boomin. They had a lot of versatility on this album between them two, from different sounds, from the trap to turn up, some melodic, some slow it down. They had bops with Drake, Mr. Right Now. And of course, you got Morgan Freeman narrating now, but that album was just an overall great, solid package between them two. And then Morgan Freeman on the side was just crazy. I can't believe they had Morgan Freeman talk about the difference between snitches and rats. That was just absolutely insane. So Savage Mode 2 comes in at number 9 on my top 10. Next up, we got Westside Gunn, Pray for Paris. This is my first album I heard from Westside Gunn and the Griselda crew overall. Now, Westside Gunn ended up releasing 2 projects after this, but I didn't really enjoy them as much as I did Pray for Paris. Pray for Paris was just a solid collection album. It had a variety of tracks. The grittiness, the gritty and grind of Westside Gunn's flow and delivery and the beat selection is just always interesting, especially the whole Griselda crew. Their whole entire like music and versatility that they have in their music is so unique compared to everyone else in the rap game. Pray for Paris is to simplify that. Some of my favorite tracks are George Bondo, which had Con with the Machine Gun, but you know they always gonna be on the track together on each other's projects. 327, which had Joey Badass and Tyler the Creator on there. That track was just overall banger. We had a whole bunch of New York artists just rapping on a nice solid beat. They all had solid verses. I thoroughly enjoyed that track. Then we got Sean versus Flair. I thoroughly enjoyed that track. So Pray for Paris was definitely a solid album. Definitely prefer Pray for Paris between the other 2 projects that Westside Gunn had the other time of the year, but Pray for Paris comes in at number 8 on my top 10 of 2020. Next up, we got Freddie Gibbs, Alfredo. What a unique title of an album. And Freddie Gibbs, man, he's been around. He's considered one of the best artists out, the best technical rappers out in the last few years. And this album just continues that trend. I believe Alfredo is Grammy nominated as well. And some of our favorite tracks from that album are Scotty Beam, which features Rick Ross. Oh, I forgot to mention this, produced exclusively by The Alchemist. Alchemist, a classic, legendary producer. Scotty Beam featuring Rick Ross, one of my favorite tracks. Another favorite track I had was Frank Lucas, which had Benny the Butcher. Benny the Butcher had a lot of great features this year. He was scattered on a lot of people's albums this year. Especially Benny the Butcher and Conway Machine, they definitely solidified themselves as artists in 2020. They had a successful 2020. The whole Griselda crew overall had a successful 2020. Something to rap about, which had Tyler the Creator on it, Tyler the Creator's flow and the production. It was a good time. Babies in Fool featuring Conway Machine. Again, they had the whole Griselda crew just dispersed across a lot of people's albums this year. And man, Alfredo is just a solid album for Freddie Gibbs. Freddie Gibbs consistently puts out album after album of great production, great versatility, great lyrical, spiritual miracle whip in his albums. And Alfredo was definitely one of them. That comes in at number 7. Number 7? Is it number 7? Yeah, number 7 on my top 10. Next up, we got is Nas King Disease. Now, this is interesting because Nas, we all know Nas is considered one of the best, probably in many people's top 5 rappers of all time. And he's just like, when you've been doing this for so long, when you're so experienced like this, you can continue to put great products, especially when you collab with the legendary producer of Hit Boy. Can we talk real quick? Hit Boy, 2020 Hit Boy? That man was on a producing run. This man's exclusively produced for Nas King Disease. I believe Benny the Butcher's Burning the Proof. He produced on Big Sean's album, Jack Harlow's album. He seemed like he had a production on at least everyone's album this year. It's just been absolutely, especially the second half of 2020, he's been produced on everyone's album. So him collaborating with the legendary Nas, the lyrical spiritual myth that Nas has always been for the last 3 decades or so. And they just came out with a solid project, man. It's just nostalgic to hear Nas' rapping on a new production style that we have for Hit Boy. Some of my favorite tracks was Blue Pens, Car 85. Car 85 was a nice storytelling, nice vibe that Nas had. Replaced Me with Big Sean, Don Toliver. Don Toliver also had a good 2020. Till the War One featured Lil Durk, and All Bad features Anderson .Paak. That man's a cheat code when it comes to features. And Full Circle. And 10 points. So Nas King Disease was an overall solid album. One of my favorites definitely from 2020. And it comes in at number 6 of my top albums of 2020. Next up, we got another Griselda crew member here, Benny the Butcher, Burning the Proof. Benny the Butcher is definitely, I think it's between Benny the Butcher and Conway Machine when it comes to my favorite artists from the Griselda crew. I think Benny the Butcher makes better music overall, but I think Conway the Machine is a better technical rapper than Benny the Butcher is. But Burning the Proof is just a solid album, especially that intro track. That man came out swinging. He was coming out for war on Burning the Proof. Some of my other favorite tracks were Where I Would, featuring Rick Ross, One Way Flight, which had Freddie Gibbs on there, War Paint, which of course is going to have the whole Griselda crew of Westside, Gunn, and Conway Machine on the track. So it's just like, man, the Griselda crew, Benny the Butcher, Conway Machine, Westside Gunn, they all had at least one solid project this year. I know Conway Machine had From a King to a God this year. I thoroughly enjoyed that project. And then Burning the Proof from Benny the Butcher is like, man, this you can tell that whole group is just a solid cast of rappers, and Benny the Butcher, in my opinion, is the best out of all of them. But I thoroughly enjoyed Burning the Proof overall. The bars, the lyricism, and the aggressiveness that Benny the Butcher has, I always thoroughly enjoy. So Burning the Proof comes in at number 5 on my top 10 of 2020. Next up, number 4 on the list recently came out, Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon 3, to possibly conclude the trilogy of Man on the Moon 3 series. Just like, man, Kid Cudi, man, been doing this for so long, almost 2 decades, like a decade and a half now. And you can see the transpire throughout the album after album, from the Man on the Moon 1 all the way up to the Man on the Moon 3. They have the struggles that Kid Cudi has internalized and put out in his music to help others. And you can see that into fruition in the Man on the Moon 3, as he's still conflicting with himself, but you can see himself coming to the light and trying to help inspire other people to come into the light. Some of my favorite songs are, I like damn near, I think I playlisted like half the album, but some of my favorite songs were definitely Tequila Shots, Heaven on Earth, Show Out, which had the late Pop Smoke and Skepta on there, Kid Cudi and Drill Beat, absolutely love that. I actually reacted to that video, I thoroughly enjoyed that. Solo Dolo Part 3, that could be the conclusion of Solo Dolo series. Sad People, September 16th, The Void, like the track with Trippie Redd. So like the album, they just thoroughly enjoyed the vibes, the hums. All the Kid Cudi hums never get old. Just Man on the Moon 3, just a solid project. Can't believe we got it. I thought we were gonna get that next year, but he decided to release it later this year. At least we got it overall. I just thoroughly enjoyed Man on the Moon 3, Kid Cudi, the hums, the bars, the raps. We got a little bit of trap Kid Cudi Kid Cudi been rapping this year, and this is like brought out people that just think he just all hums. That man can definitely rap. He solidified himself with that. So man on number 3, Kid Cudi comes in at number 4 on my top 10 of 2020. At number 3, we got No Pressure. Logic's No Pressure came out in July of this year. The man announced previously, as he announced the album, that he's going to be retired, and this is just like his giveaway. This is his album saying I'm heading on into the sunset and walking away from music. I personally think, in my opinion, he's gonna come back 3-5 years with a surprise album and shock the world. But that's to give this man time. He's raising a family, raising a little boy, and he came out with No Pressure, man. No Pressure is always so interesting because it came off from last year in which he released Supermarket, but people didn't like, even though it's supposed to be an alternative album from Logic, it's not supposed to be rap, but people hated on it. Then of course we had Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. People, even his true fans, was like, yeah, this is not it. This is not Logic. We want it. He said, okay, y'all want the Under Pressure vibes. I'm gonna do my best to come back with that, with No Pressure. This is him saying, because the first album was titled Under Pressure. This is him under pressure now. 6 years later, what he's learned, what he transpired throughout his career, he feel like he has no pressure to do everything he ever wanted to do, and this just solidified that, man. Just the bars, the lyricism, a little bit of storytelling, just and preaching why he's the person the way he is, and preaching why he's leaving the rap game from the people, the conscious of people hating on him so much, etc., etc., etc. Everything we come to learn about Logic from other people, the critics talk about him and everything like that. And this is just him discussing, like, I'm getting tired of it. I'm ready to raise a family. I'm ready to take a step back and just do my own thing. And this is just what No Pressure encompassed. Some of my favorite tracks include the intro track, Hit My Line, GP4, Open Mic at Aquarius 3, which I believe is my favorite from that album, especially Aquarius 3. When that beat drops, even though the transition was sudden and it wasn't smooth, it's just that production on Aquarius 3. Soul Food 2 with the original sample, what the original Soul Food was supposed to be, absolute banger. Man Now Years, which according to Spotify is my favorite track of the year, which I can't blame because I'm just happy that Man Now Years. Dad Bod, which I was hesitant on, but turned out to be a solid track. 5 hooks with the crazy production that Logic did on that. Dark Place, which is kind of solidified what Logic was going through with making the decision to retire. A to Z, heard him say with that that Good Morning beat, and of course Amen to close it out. So overall, Logic, man, good to see that he went out to the sunset. People came to love No Pressure for what it was, and was happy for him that people came to love it, and people come to cherish the man. You know, the man been go through so much hate ever since he released his Everybody album. For the last 3 years, he's been going through so much hate, and finally come back with a banger with No Pressure was solid. So number 3 is Logic's No Pressure. At number 2, we're going way back to earlier in the year. Mac Miller's Circles. Man, this is just a sad day for us all. A sad and a happy day for us all, because this is the possibly the final album we ever get from Mac Miller. The team, the label, everything else behind Mac Miller came together to compile songs that he was possibly working on and created a solid album to allow Mac Miller and his voice to rest in peace. And just, man, it sounded like something Mac Miller would pull together, and it's just overall great. His singing, his rapping, his positive vibes, trying to help people go through any struggles they possibly went through. He talked about his struggles that he was going through, and just encompassed everything that Mac Miller was, man. It was just overall solid. Some of my favorite tracks are Complicated, Blue World, I Can See, Woods, Hand Me Downs, man. Just overall, just vibes, have a good time. Tracks you just think and self-reflect, and just Mac Miller. Just glad we had a solid album. We all thankful that the publicity this album for Mac Miller was done right. Even after some artists after their passing, the labels, the people, the team behind them didn't give out great albums. But I'm just happy and satisfied that Mac Miller's crew and label did them just right. And Circles comes in at number 2 in my top 10 of 2020. And number 1, I think we can all agree, The Weeknd's After Hours comes in at number 1. Just, man, After Hours, the production, The Weeknd singing, just the subject matter is overall solid, man. The production from track to track to track to track to track with so many layers. Just the layers, the production on this album was insane. The Weeknd, we all know his vocals gonna be crazy. That man just gonna be snapping on his vocals, just harmonizing, just, man, it just felt like so seamless. I believe there's possibly maybe 2 skits, but like you can possibly just ride on vibe with them. But it was just overall just a solid album, man. The Weeknd, he had a successful 2020, not only with the success that he had from After Hours, with the features he had with Juice WRLD, Calvin Harris. He did a Spanish track. He had a feature with Ariana Grande. So just overall 2020, The Weeknd was one of those few people that had a successful 2020. Just After Hours, just the production After Hours was just insane. I love After Hours so much that every time I edit a video from after reacting to a song or two every Friday, I literally throw on After Hours and put it on the background as I'm listening. Just a solid album I consistently listen to, and just shocked and amazed at how insane the production was. How you can tell how much time and effort was put into it. And just The Weeknd, we all know he's gonna be here for a long time. He's gonna be the halftime show artist in the Super Bowl. So people saying that's possibly why he didn't get Grammy nominated for After Hours. That's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother subject. That's something way above my imagination, my thought process. I don't understand how it didn't get Grammy nominated, but that's neither here nor there. We all can agree that this is the album of the year, one of the greatest albums we've seen in the last few years. It's just, man, the production, The Weeknd singing, his harmonizing, his vocals, just overall solid. So that's why it comes at number 1, my top 10 albums of 2020. Let me know what was your top 10 of 2020, or the top 25, top 50. Just let me know down in the comment section below what were your favorite albums of 2020 overall. 2020 has just been a successful year of music. It's brought us so much joy, so much happiness, helped us get through this crazy behind year. It's gonna be interesting to see what we get in 2021. We didn't get a J. Cole album. We got a couple of songs, couple of features from him, man. We didn't get the album from him. And then we didn't get a Kendrick album in 2020, so that man's finna snapped in 2021. It's been 4 years since we had a Kendrick album, so that man's for real gonna snap in 2021. And we got Certified Lover Boy from Drake. So just like overall, it's just gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be crazy. 21 is looking promising, but 2020 overall was a solid year. So the full list is gonna be down below in the description, including my top 10 other top albums I had of 2020. Let me know what's your top albums of 2020 overall in the comment section below. And I can't wait for the music to bring in 2021. So if you like the video, please like the video. I got more content like this always coming soon, so please subscribe. And I'll see you next video. Peace.